Welcome to the Weekley Podcast. We are sitting here with Mark Robinson. He's connected to Jeremiah, but I'm going to learn a lot about him, and we're going to ask him a few questions.
Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it. Yeah.
The first thing that stuck out to me whenever I was doing research on you was you had said in an interview or a podcast or something like that, that if you could go back and give your 18-year-old self some advice, you said, be kind to yourself. I was curious, were you like really hard on yourself as a kid or is...
Wow, man, that number one, you researched me. That's scary. I'd love to know what else you found. And two, I don't remember making a statement, but I do absolutely agree with it. When I was younger, so people see me now in this role where I'm out in the community. I could speak to groups of hundreds or thousands, and it's not that it's not a big deal. I'm still very nervous, but if you'd have told my 14-year-old self that I was going to do that, he'd have fallen over and probably had a heart attack and died on the spot, right? For me, I was very internalized as a young teenager, I went in, everything that I had to think about, everything I wanted to say, I thought about it 7 or 8 times. And if it didn't sound cool in my head, it never came out of my mouth. And so there's definitely a change and a shift that happened. I had a mentor that told me, never pass up a speaking opportunity. And Peggy Marshall, I'm on a podcast. So
how old were you when she told you that?
That was post-college. And so, well, she then convinced me to go back and get my MBA at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. So in between colleges, but I was probably 20 years old.
I think my teachers would have said, never pass up an opportunity to shut up. That's what they would have said.
That's it. Sure. And it served me well. It's put me in a lot of very uncomfortable positions, but that's okay. And it's good advice for anybody, specifically if that is your drawback and you criticize yourself and you're hard on yourself, putting yourself in those situations where you have to speak, preferably around people that want you to succeed at first. It's one of the best leadership techniques is being able to communicate.
Mm-hmm. I agree. You know, I almost made Blade when he was at Pine Tree, let's say 8th grade year, I almost made him do Toastmasters.
And Toastmasters is great. And I've never done it, but I've got a lot of friends that have done it, and they've had it at our home office a few times, but never locally. And the people that go through Toastmasters, you can hear it in the way they're distinct. They'll have a good illustration. They'll have a quote or a scripture or a story, or right, and they walk you through it. The clarity is great, and they're able to get their message out in a way that doesn't do you a disservice to your time, right? Because you can tell if people are prepared for something or not.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's, some speakers can do more in 5 minutes than another speaker could do in 5 hours, and it has everything to do with their preparation.
And it never matters like how smart you are, how good you are, anything, if you can't communicate it.
If you can't, that's right. If you can't communicate it, the only problem we can't fix is the one that we don't talk about, right? So communication specifically when you come to hard things, whether it's in your community, your family, your business, is if you can't talk about something, that is a problem you cannot fix. And I would go a step further. If you can't talk about it well, then it's just going to take you longer to fix it.
I agree. Do you remember Dr. Adanye when he was at Laterno?
Yeah.
So I emailed him one time to meet him, right? And I was just, he does welding equipment. I wanted that kind of mind to guide me in FST. Like, what are we looking at, right? He meets me up at Corner Bakery when it was still there. And the first thing he says, son, before we go any further, please tell me where you learned to write an email. And I'm like, what? Oh, no. This guy's a welding engineer. Like his mind, his IQ is blowing mine out of the water, and we're talking about an email. And he said, if my students could write an email like that, they could change the world. But the problem with an engineer is they don't communicate like that.
Mm. That's and so in our world, at the power company, we're run by engineers too, right? We got to get this service done. We've got to get this connected. We've got to build this infrastructure from transmission, distribution, substation, all the way to our generation plants. Engineers behind everything. And when our engineers can communicate at a high level, that's great, right? I mean, that's where you get your future leaders.
But it's also why they need a PR man.
sometimes it is difficult, and you wouldn't want me engineering anything either, right? So the flip side, some of them I wouldn't put behind this microphone. Also, you wouldn't want me engineering a substation,
Yeah, right.
because your power would go out all the time. And so, everybody's got a role, but as much as we can communicate to the best of our capabilities, that's how we fix things.
Yeah. Well, how do you stay calm when everybody needs answers and communicate well?
So that kind of goes to our storm work that we do. When a large storm hits, like in 2023, we had that windstorm, had hundreds of thousands of customers out. Everybody wakes up that morning, they're pretty frustrated, right? And then from there, I think Wascom was out for 11 days. 11 days without power. Now, I mean, y'all got families.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Like and it's not just them, it's us too, right? Our folks are going home to homes that don't have power too. So they're working a 16-hour shift, and then they're going to go
trying
home.
to get everybody else's power on.
Yeah. Trying to get it in. And so how do we communicate in those spaces is important, right? Because you can't come out frantic. And even if everybody's blowing you up on social media or getting upset, which here in East Texas, honestly, we get a ton of grace.
Yeah.
Here. We really do. I've worked up in Indiana and Michigan. We've got, Ohio, West Virginia, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma. We're in a lot of states. East Texas is probably one of the most gracious areas or regions when it comes to storm, because they understand we got 100-foot pine trees everywhere. You clear 15-foot right away, that 100-foot pine tree comes down. It's more than likely going to come down on your line. And so we've got a lot of grace, but day 3 or 4, we start seeing that grace turn a little bit.
No doubt.
And so how do we communicate? And I was taught this many years ago. 3 things. We know you're out of power. We care. And this is what we're doing about it.
Mm.
You can't do much more. If someone's going to be angry, they're going to be angry, but you can show them, we know that there's a problem.
Yeah.
We care. You're our customer. We want your power to be on as much as you do, maybe more, but at least as much as you do. And this is what we're doing about it. And if you can be, let's say clarity is kindness, right? So if you can be clear with your communication and say, here's how we're moving forward. Here's how you can stay up to date. Here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
If you can do that in a calm manner, even if people are frustrated, that's the gold right there. Because we're working with, during storm, we've got Texas Department of Emergency Management. You've got your local county emergency management agencies. You've got a emergency operations center set up. You've got your local law enforcement, fire department, first responders. All of them are asking you like, hey, this tree's down in the road. It's got a wire on it. Isn't energized. Can I move it with my bulldozer? No. Don't touch it. Stay away until I get one of our guys to go over there and disconnect it and flag it for you.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not touch. All right. And we've seen a lot of stories like that. Thank God we haven't had anybody. That's class. Let's go with metal.
Yeah, we got one under.
That has been it. But those are the kind of conversations. And
Yeah.
electricity is very powerful and it is very dangerous. And how do you balance hard conversations in a dangerous environment?
Yeah.
But without losing your audience. It's a delicate dance every time we have a storm. And I love storms, not because anybody's at it, but because it shows our relationships and it improves our communication with our customers. So yeah, it's a tough time.
What about you, Jeremiah? You send one of those incredible emails you're so good at writing, or how do you handle when there's a crisis and a lot of answers need to be given?
I mean, you have to do it just like Mark said. I mean, you got to own it. You got to tell people what you're doing.
Yeah.
Gaslighting people's not going to work. They're too smart for that. I mean, trying to, skirt around the issue doesn't help. It makes it worse. So you just own it. You tell them what you're doing, how you're doing it, and you go.
Yeah. I know you handle a lot of communication and relationship with the community. And I was curious how you show up for your local community without making it feel like a PR move.
Yeah. So giving was a hard one for me, right? Because, successful giving as a kid was you leave the groceries on the front step, somebody that needs it, you knock and you run like crazy. And if they didn't catch you, you succeeded, right? That was successful giving because nobody ever figured out. Corporate contributions are completely different.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you want everybody to know. One, that you want them to know SWEPCO is a part of this community. By the way, we're in regulated Texas. That means you don't have a choice who serves this building right here.
Yeah.
All right. It's whoever the state of Texas, the Public Utility Commission of Texas tells you you're going to serve this building. All right. So I want you to know that I'm going to be a part of this community. And so that giving is part of that. I want other people to come alongside. Right. So I want to drag other corporations and individuals and community minded folks to come in and say, hey, you give too. And so how do you do that without it feeling like a gimmick? Right. And boy, we've gotten into so many social virtue posturing that in the past couple of years that it does, it's the selfie mentality of look at me with.
We battle the same thing as a company.
And so at the end of the day, like you said, our customers are geniuses. They know whether we're doing it for the right reason or not. Our organizations that we serve know whether we're doing it for the right reason or not. And I think that it shows up when you mix not just a financial contribution, but you also mix like volunteer efforts, board engagement. You're helping them with their issues that they have from an electrical standpoint or their customers. And we're working with like Longview Community Ministries or Red Cross or Salvation Army. And they're saying, hey, we have a need here, or one of our customers or one of our residents has a need, showing up for them. And so it's so much less about the big check, which I have to do big checks all the time. And I think it's a good thing. I now don't think it's a bad thing, but you got to go well beyond that. And my hope is that if you asked, the CEO or president or executive director of any nonprofit in town, whether it was about that check or if it was about the relationship, I think they would all say it's about the relationship with SWEPCO and not about what, the money that we gave them.
Yeah, because I feel like you are modeling that to make it feel less like the utility, the bill, right? Like people just kind of see it as a bill, like like the necessary evil. So how are you balancing like the need side of it with also posturing the business to also be something that people look at as part of the community and beyond giving, I would say?
So I think that we as industry or businesses have a responsibility. And I don't mean that any less than what I actually said. I think it is our responsibility to give back to our communities, because our communities give so much to us. And not only but like for us, it's very close, right? Because we make, sell, and consume our product here. I don't ship it anywhere else. I know that you've got vendors all over the world and you ship your product all over the world. I keep all of my stuff is here, right? My employees live here. We generate power here. I could point the power plants out to you all within, a couple hours drive of here. Our product stays here. I can't put it on a shelf.
Right.
I'm not the bread company. Like I don't get to put it on the shelf. No, when you ask for it, I make it for you. The electrons running through these cameras and these microphones and this light rolled off of, you're welcome. I'll pass that on to the people that do the work. That rolled off of a generator about 1/8 of a second ago, somewhere near you, right? That's my business. And so I've got a responsibility.
Where would it come from here?
So mostly Wilkes Power Plant, Welsh Power Plant, Knoxley Power Plant. Those are your three. But once they go onto the grid, onto the transmission system, we're part of Southwest Power Pool. So technically, electron could come from anywhere in the Midwest, 14 states in the Midwest, right? You can't, to my knowledge, I've checked before, you can't track where that specific electron's coming from. Although I thought that would be a cool technology.
It would be kind of cool.
It would be cool.
If you're out at Knoxley and you got a house at Cherokee and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's
I got
right.
Ohio power.
Yeah, you might get an Ohio electron. I don't know. It's definitely.
I could smell that Yankee electron.
But the most important part is that electron is there. Right?
Absolutely.
And it's always, we had an outage in the Pine Tree area yesterday, right? Guess what? My phone starts blowing up. It's, hey, when are we going to get our power back? What's going on? Because when you flip that light switch and it doesn't come on,
yeah,
when it's a light, it's a nuisance, right? But when it's your oxygen, when it's your business, when you're not making stuff, or when you're in the middle of a production run and now you got scrap because you couldn't finish, that's a big deal, right? It's a big deal. And so if it's a big deal to our customers, it's a big deal to us. But we ought to take the community building role and lead with that, because our communities provide so much for us. And you've seen that historically. A lot of the communities that we visit with the Chamber's inner city trip, they do an inner city trip every year. And we go into another community. This year, we're going to Johnson City, Tennessee, and we're going to ask them to open their kitchen cupboards, which is like, tell us what worked in your community. Tell us what didn't work in your community. Talk to us about your education, your transportation, how you're financially, how your tax structure is, and how your voting system. We want to know it all. Give us the dirty details, because we don't want to go back and try to reproduce something in Longview. Every community that we go into, there's a foundation, which we just created, a Longview Community Foundation. That's going to help out here.
That's through AEP?
No. That is so Kristen Ishihara, Mayor Ishihara,
Okay.
Jen Ware, Kelly Hall. There's several of us now on the board now. They created a Longview Community Foundation. We've had the East Texas Community Foundation for many years. This is going to be more Greater Longview specific, because every community that we went into, there was individuals, whether it was real estate planning or donor advised funds or corporations like ours, that would go in and would say, we're not just here for today. We want our impact to be 100 years from now. And when we went to Tulsa, there, I believe it was called the George, I forget his last name. I think it started with the F. His foundation was amazing. And every time we talked about, the city put in some money here, the George Kaiser Foundation put in this much money. It was hundreds of millions of dollars. And
Is that a trust or? Yeah.
It's his foundation that he created. He was a very successful businessman, and I think it was oil and gas.
Yeah.
And we need that. We need that in our community. And so it's our responsibility to make sure that not only we're successful now, but that our grandchildren can also be successful in this community. And that only happens if we start planting those seeds right now. And a lot of times that is financial. And yeah, you ought to celebrate it. Got to be proud of what you do.
How many boards are you currently on?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I had to ask because I know I do one, and I feel like I don't serve it well.
I'm on 8 or 9 and a bunch of committees, but that's my job, right?
Yeah.
Your job is production and sales and everything else. And I've got some functional roles, but my job is to be the beautiful face of SWEPCO for East Texas.
Yeah.
They could have hired a little bit better for that role, but my job is to be out in all of our communities and doing board service.
Yeah. I kind of have a personal question I want to shift to.
Let's go.
Because you mentioned when you flick on the switch and the lights don't come on.
Is your power out?
Yeah. I need you over.
Give me the address. I'll check on it.
Yeah, don't tag him on his Facebook.
It's not that. Your personal cell phone rings. And we've even had discussions here recently about sometimes you provide an environment and it turns into just an expectation. Sure. And so how do you grapple with that personally when it feels like it is more of just an expectation and when people are you only hear when people are disappointed and not just like, hey, getting a text, hey, I've flicked this on and
yeah, my power worked 360 days last year.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they want to talk about the 5.
I love our customers that say, I haven't lost power in 15 years and it's out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to put you on every poster. Like, thank you
Yes.
for, we're going to get to your power outage. But what did you just say? You haven't lost power for how long? I guess the best way I can answer that question is the mentality around service. And I was taught this by one of my mentors, Gary Gibbs, down in Austin. When I came here from South Bend, Indiana, we had a good conversation. I said, I found out, realized this guy was one of our lobbyists, extremely effective at his job, invited into rooms that as the power guy never really should have been invited to. It might've been insurance policy or something, but he was in the room all the time because people trusted him. I said, Gary, how do you do this? How do you get in these rooms that you would never otherwise be in? He said, well, you got to realize in this industry, we make friends. I'm like, what does that mean? He said, well, a lot of people make coworkers, a lot of people make partners, a lot of people make, fellow board members. I make friends. If somebody's sick, I call them. Or I'll bring, he brought soup up all the time, up to staffers' offices when they heard they were sick. If your mom was going through a hard time, he'd send you a letter, hey, praying for your family or whatever. He made friends. And he said, now I'm going to warn you, if you do this, it's going to hurt worse when things go wrong because they're your friends. And you have to have harder conversations. Just like if you saw someone down the street that was misbehaving and you didn't know them, you probably wouldn't say anything about it. It's like, hey, this person having a bad day. But you wouldn't integrate into the situation.
Yeah.
But if it's your friend that's acting the fool and doing something that's going to injure themselves, injure their family, then it is, as a friend, it is your requirement, it's your responsibility to say, hey, you gotta modify your behavior.
Right.
And let me stand with you and help you. So when the expectations are high, all I got to say is if someone's my friend, my expectations are higher than whatever they could possibly hit me with. And so now, am I perfect at it? Absolutely not. But, we've had meetings where, I think we met at the Christian Business Leaders Roundtable.
Yeah.
And we had some hard conversations about prayer requests that we had. And man, I really valued that time because it helped me not just see somebody as a banker or as a manufacturer, as whatever. It let me see who they were. And when I know who you are, when I know your personality, when I know your discipline, when I know your values, then I can serve you that much better because, it's platinum rule. If I can communicate with you how you want to be communicated with, I'll be an extremely effective leader. And so you got to get to know people. So my expectations, hopefully, are higher than that of other people's.
Yeah.
There's always a caveat there.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a customer, a friend that requires more of you than you have to give.
How do you deal with that?
Either their expectations are unrealistic, or you're tapped out. Maybe it's financially, maybe it's time. You got to prioritize, right?
Amen, man. It's Boundaries by Henry Cloud.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it.
Number one human in my life is my wife.
Yes.
And man, I'm sure I feel on that on a daily, weekly, probably. But I was talking.
She has an extremely talented wife.
Oh, my wife's amazing.
Oh yeah, she does the art. And
she
stuff.
does murals. She's all over town. She's an art teacher. She just made a coloring book. Like always saying, we just finished the Airbnb.
She's still at Christian Heritage.
Yeah, she's still at Christian Heritage.
Yeah, that's a school we've supported too. The kids used to be there.
She's amazing. I mean, again, I was out in the parking lot talking to her, and she's like, "I got this done. This done. Have you done this?" I'm like, "No, I haven't even done that one thing." And so it's one thing to say someone's a priority. It's another thing to actually make them the priority. But that's number one.
Well, let me just jump in pat you on the back for a second. You've been summarized, Google summarized you as the enthusiastically supportive husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm done.
You got the award, man.
The crazy thing is he has a job and he has something he does all the time. He'd rather talk about Jamie.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, I admire that because I know the kind of man he is, the kind of husband he is, but it also is a model for me because I can sit here and talk about FST, what Jeremiah's done. The real winner in our house is right next door. I mean, she's a better businesswoman. She's sharper. She's certainly better with money.
How did we sneak past their guard?
I don't know. I mean, I went the hard way. Oh, brother.
That's right.
Like I've done everything.
So that's number one. The kids are number two, and everybody else falls in line after that. And that includes my work, which is hard to say because where do we spend all of our time? At work.
At work.
I spend more waking hours doing things for Swepco than I ever do for my family.
How do you balance
So
that?
how do you even justify the statement of saying that you're the number one in my life if I'm not giving you the most of my time? And just because we sleep in the same bed for the most, that's not waking hours. That doesn't count, right? And so you have to be intentional. Okay, so she wants to run a half marathon up at Glacier National Park later in June, end of June. So guess where we're going as a family? And guess who's going to be there cheering for her when she finishes?
Cheering for her or running?
I'm not running. Heck no. Someone got to watch the kids.
He just figured his shoes out. He just figured the right shoes out.
No. The only time I run is if there's a basketball and a hoop involved. Then or I guess I'd have to be Steve.
Glacier is incredible, though. I got married there.
Oh, my goodness.
We eloped. Best thing we ever did. It was low key. Just her and I mean, we enjoyed
I saw
it.
the pictures. I didn't know that's where it was.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Beautiful. A friend and I went up to Yellowstone, and we ended up doing the Pacific Northwest and back all the way. It was like a 9-day trip, but it was storming the day that we were supposed to be in Glacier National Park, and we had other things, and so we had to bypass it. I was like, man, I hate that because of everything. So I'm super excited about this trip.
I'd love to go back, take the kids, but
you just gotta, life is messy. You're not gonna get it right. You just gotta show people know. It's kind of the resounding thing that people know. Your customers know. People know. Do you love them or do you not love them? Do you care what they're saying when they're speaking? Or are you just waiting for your turn to say what you want to say? And they're talking about their vacation. When you're talking about your wedding, what I just did. Well, hey, I almost went there one time. Am I constantly thinking about how do I tell my story as soon as he puts a period on his?
Yeah.
Or am I actually listening? Like, do I care that you got married at Glacier National Park? Do I want to ask more questions about it? Or am I simply waiting to just tell my side of the story? Something that, again, effective leadership and communication. So, but people know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I say teenagers, it worked in church environment long enough. I think teenagers are the most perceptive people in the entire world.
I got a couple of them.
Yeah.
They definitely are.
And they know. They know if you're real. And they know you're flawed, but they know if you're real or if you're not.
And they're looking to question it. I mean, that's where they are in their growth cycle. So if you try to be inauthentic, oh boy, they're going to eat you up.
Or they won't, but they'll keep it and so they'll internalize it. And that's almost worse, right? I walk into any faith organization around here, you talk to a teenager, point out the realest person in this church. They're not always going to point at the pastor. And they're not usually going to point at somebody in leadership. And you say that person over there cares about the teenagers in our church.
Yeah.
And it's really
teenagers and toddlers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both going to hit you with a like
there's a book.
Yeah. I want to say Eliana just called me old man the other day. And I said, what did you say? And she said, nothing. I just said man.
So you read it, you're lying to me, and you still have me wrapped around your finger. So yeah, family's beautiful. It's nobody gets it right. I think there's constantly that struggle, and social media has done that to us, right? These people have their lives perfectly put together.
Yeah.
You look at my social media, you would probably say, this guy goes on trips, he speaks in front of crowds, all this stuff. You should see behind the scenes. It's a mess. It's absolutely, there's times when my truck's a mess. There's times when my clothes aren't put away. There's times when I sit in my office and just like, what in the world am I doing right now? Am I even having, but from the outside, this guy's air quotes successful.
Mm-hmm.
And so if people are having a messy life and you're sitting in the space where you're like, I don't know if I realize that everybody has that.
Yeah.
Specifically as men. One thing that I would encourage, and this is way off track of what you asked.
Let's go there.
But we have to have somebody that we talk to.
Yeah, because you're taught not to. The
Absolutely.
manly thing is to shut up and take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rub some dirt on it. Real men don't cry. And I think we've gotten past some of those, but we haven't gotten good at talking to each other. And that's, again, why I appreciated the group that we're in, is that we would have hard conversations and you'd call somebody out. And, for me, one of my best friends in the world right now is Killian Thompson. We go fishing. He's one of our linemen. If you put us next to each other, you'd be like, y'all are friends? Because we don't look at all alike.
Yeah.
And, but man, he called me out on something the other day. We're coming back from Central Texas. We've done some hunting, and I was kind of complaining. That's probably a fair thing to say about something that was going on in my life. And he just called me out. I'm like, well, what do you think? And interestingly, got to put him in my life. He had gone through that situation, but as a recipient, and I was, not the recipient. And he's like, well, think about it from this point of view, which is my best. But he called me out hard, and I've called him out on a few things. That's what friends do. If you don't have someone like that, you got to find somebody.
Yeah,
and more than one.
I mean,
Preferably.
iron sharpens iron is one of the greatest gifts that you'll find in the Bible for men, and you have to have them. Like I've had them as business partners. I've still got them as friends, and like I want it unvarnished. I mean, my wife will give it to me, and I need it. I need it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I don't need you to tiptoe around what's going on here. Just hit me with it. I might not like it. It might take me a day or two to shut down and process, but I will consider it, and I will be back.
Yeah. And there are some things, and this may sound biased or sexist, but there are things that I don't want to tell. There's nothing I won't tell my wife. Preface. There are things that I don't want to tell my wife.
Right.
Oh,
Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Not because I don't love her, not because I'm not try to be her biggest fan, but because I don't want to disintegrate the trust or the confidence that she has in me. So there are certain things like, I don't know if I'm good enough here. Or, man, I feel like I'm failing in this space. I will be, she feels that anyways, but I'm more comfortable telling a guy friend that than I am her, because how do we fix that without losing her confidence in me as the leader in our home? I mean, I lead our home and she leads with me, and I don't make any decisions without her input. We made some big ones. We moved from Longview to Corpus Christi to South Bend, Indiana, and back to Longview. And every single one of those, if she didn't have peace about it, we're not going, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose that confidence that she has in me, and I don't want to lose any confidence in her. So
That's a really good point, because I don't really know the answer to how you balance that, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to give your weak self to the person you're out there fighting for that you would defend with your life, right? Which would be your wife and your kids.
Right.
But I mean, they can tell anyway, right? So I don't know. It's like teenagers. I mean, women are far more intuitive. They read a room better. I mean, I like people. So I walk in, I gravitate, I look for the good.
Yeah.
You can sit her in a corner and she can be like, maybe you should look here. And I would have never caught it.
Absolutely. My wife has told me before, and only a couple times, like, hey, watch out for that one, and I'm like, what are you killing the same way? I love people. I'm going to shake everybody's hand in the room if I can. It's like, that one's probably got a different, agenda than you think that they do. And I'm telling you, 99 times out of 100, she'll be right.
Oh, you pray about it.
She's got a great radar, man.
Intuition is scary.
And you know who else had that is, like, if you think about one of the icons of masculinity in our culture, Teddy Roosevelt, right? Just finished the book about all the important women in his life. Because, I mean, this guy's the icon of the man in the arena, Rough Rider, out there hunting all the big game.
Yeah.
The man was actually led more by his wives and his sisters. I mean, they did all his political back channeling in a time when women were just completely pushed in the corner. I mean, he was the first guy to champion, women's suffrage in a time when it wasn't popular. And that's because of those women in his life.
Yeah.
You see the same with Christ. Christ and the women in his life encouraging him, his mother at Cana, and just the fact that Mary would be the vessel to carry the Christ child. And, you look at Deborah in the Old Testament, who was a judge, it was over and over and over again. And I know that we have historically done a disservice to the women in our world because we don't think that they're powerful enough, or we don't trust their intuition. And boy, it would make a whole lot of sense if we,
we want to make them all Eve, but the what's lost in that is she actually had the power there.
Yeah.
That's you go.
So it's a big part of nobody's successful by themselves. And I throw around that term successful, and I've wrestled with it because I've met people that have more money than anybody I've ever met, and they're unsuccessful in my opinion, and then I've met people that have no money, and they're, to me, just the epitome of success. They're surrounded by people that love them. Their families are doing great. They've got a community they've put into people. And so they're going, doesn't matter how much. But yeah, the term, what is successful?
How would you define it? Success.
Doing what you're made to do, fulfilling what God's created you for. Because some people are made to make money. Like, literally, that is their God-given capability. Some people are made to raise money for organizations. Some people are made for service. right? They're there to roll their sleeves up and get their hands dirty. I don't think you can define success other than, are you doing what you're created to do?
Yeah, because you'd have to define it per person.
Yeah, and if you just put a dollar figure on it, or a family figure on it, or you put a health figure on it, everybody's created differently and for different strengths. And big compliment that I got from my dad years ago is like, you are perfectly suited for the job that you have. Mm-hmm. And it was so much more than just a compliment on my job, but it's like, oh, I'm doing, for this time of my life, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's a bigger compliment than, oh, how much money do you make? Oh, you're doing a great job. Or what's out in the parking lot? Oh, you're doing a great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd like you guys both to chime in on this, but just piggybacking off of that, what is like a clear day when you said, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be?
Ooh, that's a bad day. And there's certain things I still can't talk about it. But there was a day when it's kind of the worst day in our world, in the hazardous environment. And again, I can't get into details on it. But if you want honesty, that was the day that I knew I was where I was supposed to be. And I'd say really it was the day after, it was that night when I was with a group of guys that were hurting. It was the next day when we were with a crew of people, 71 people that were making hard decisions. And yeah, I know I'm being a little obtuse here, a little bit not focused on my answer, but I knew that day that I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do, and that was helping hurting people. And it's the day you never want to have. It's the call you never want to get. It's the, saw things that I wish I never saw, and, but the follow up was, hey, you're supposed to be here. God has you here for a reason. Now get to work. And, been able to grieve some of those situations since then, but in the immediate, and this is why I think so much of like first responders, law enforcement, they work through this every day, all day. And then once you get out of America, people around the world deal with this stuff all day, every day. We're so sheltered from that. But people that see tragedy, see a hard time, and they say, okay, let's get to work.
Or live it every day. I mean, that's like I've told you about Hope. Dean was on the board too, and I was, and that's kind of how I got invited into the group where we met. And man, he talked me into going to the first time. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that. We really don't talk about where we go. In the Middle East, Muslim country, and we rescue these families out of slavery. And brother, when you fly, here's the thing, you fly through Dubai and you stay a day. Imagine the contrast.
Oh gosh. You go from
a city that literally makes Las Vegas look like the poorest flea market on the earth. And I'm sorry, Vegas, I know you spend a lot on tourism, but you're nowhere near Dubai. You're just not. You know this, you've been there. Dubai it's insane. I mean, you've never seen more Rolls Royces, the Bentleys in a place. I mean, every exotic sports car, it is wild, the excess. And it's funny because you're in this city where you can go down to Abu Dhabi, where women can't drive in the same country, or wear a bathing suit. You can only do that in our Vegas. It's so odd. But then you leave there and you go into a country where people are living in dirt huts, sharing a cooking fire, and that's paradise for them because you rescued them from a brick kiln where they're making bricks all day, even 3-year-old kids.
Literal servitude.
And you go back at night to the place and you just weep. I mean, you lay there and you're like, God, why do I get to do what I do when there are people living like this? There's just no answer for that.
Mm-hmm. There's not. And why was I fortunate, blessed, lucky enough to be born in America? much less, even in America, I'd say we're pretty blessed as individuals around this table, but you're top 1%. You're over the poverty line. You're top 1% nationally.
Yeah. Anybody
in America is pretty much top 1% in the world. And so, how do we respond to that, right? How do you respond to, of whom much is given, much is expected or required?
Mm-hmm. I mean, man, you think about our Section 8. Our Section 8 has air conditioning. Usually they're going to have cable or satellite TV and a cell phone. That puts you far ahead of poverty in most places in the world.
It's a sign of a overall prosperous community and nation. And what I would say is whether you're in the penthouse or you're in public housing, you still have a responsibility to your community, because we're all built differently. We're all going to have different capabilities, but what are you doing for your neighborhood? More importantly, what are you doing for your neighbor?
Yeah.
Like, would your neighbor come over? If I met your neighbor, would your neighbor come over and say, "Hey, Jeremiah's a great guy. He helped me out this time," or, waves at me, has done something. That's where it gets to real.
You hope so, but that'd be interesting. You hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm friendly with mine, but one of my neighbor's trees went through my fence too, and I feel like I was really gracious about it. So
maybe we'll wait. Oh, okay, very good, very good. It's easy to look good.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, and I work through pretender syndrome all the time. I sit there at these boardroom tables, and I have no problem saying this because I think I'm finally starting to see my way through it, but I'll sit there still and I'll say, why are they letting the kid at the adults table? Right. It's like, do they realize? And sometimes I'm chairing the organization, and it's like, man, they have no, but it's just that mind, that mental tick that says you're not enough.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's something that and a lot of fantastic leaders that I've met, you would never guess it. Yeah, no, not you. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't have it, you're a narcissist.
Yeah.
I mean, we know how that goes, right?
There's a balance to everything, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's a conversation you've had in your life that changed the way you lead?
That's a great question. I have them all the time. Literally all the time. This last week, I spent time with 3 guys up in Broken Bow, Oklahoma, and each one of them, and it was a fishing trip that those guys, whether they know it or not, they poured into me. I would say, I talk about this a lot, but the power of the individual was given to me by a man named John Smith, who was a college professor. And it's not even what he said. It's just what he did. Like, honestly, very soft-spoken, super deep voice, super cool guy. Lives here in town. He's just a great guy. But it is not what he ever said to me. It's the fact that when I was going through like really bad days, I'd get a note or just put his hand on my shoulder. Hey, praying for you. I don't know how that man knew when I was going through bad. Maybe I just wore it, in my face, but he cared enough. And I heard a statement later, and I don't think he was the one that said it. Maybe he is. Said that stadiums fill up one person at a time. You want those big crowds. If you go looking for the big crowds, your effect will be minimal.
Yeah.
But if we have a conversation, you and I have a conversation, I can make the difference in one person's life a day. That's all I need. If I can positively impact somebody in any given day, and hopefully I do more than one, but if I can at least get to one. Now, I tell you a couple of conversations I had today, customers that were unhappy. I just went over to a realtor's place because we had some tree trimming crews that was blocking her driveway.
Yeah.
So what I way over here.
It's on Facebook. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Might as well. But you know what? My job was I'm going to make her day better today. From there, I was on the phone with the municipality. A lot of tree issues right now. We left some debris in somebody's yard. Well, send something out. We're going to get that taken care of today. Whether it's my job or whether it's my family, it's how do I make someone's life better today?
Yeah.
hopefully I make your life better today. Because definitely y'all are making my life better today. Things that you're talking into me.
I have a morning journal I write in. I write the same sentence every morning.
Oh, you got to tell me what that is. You better not tell me what that is.
I write, because I think about my work day and I go like, it's only 10 hours, be an incredible human. And I write that every morning, every single morning. Because I'm like, if I can, no matter what's going on, if I can block out 10 hours and just full effort, try to be an incredible human.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's only 10 hours.
You write that every day?
Every morning.
How long have you done that?
For 4 years.
Holy
mackerel. The crazy thing is like he's born to do that. You know, this guy is an encourager. I mean, I've never met anybody that says, it's not like Mike, it's love Mike. Yeah. I mean, it's just the kind of guy he is, right? Yeah. And then he and I'll have some conversations where he's kind of questioning, you know, well, what am I doing? Man, you are really special in who you're created to be. I can't do what he does. I'm not that social. I'm not that likable, frankly.
I almost said right.
No, it's very true. I mean, that's why he's the media guy. You know, I mean, he's just born to pour into people and to love people and to just be that role.
Oh, thank you.
Whenever you strike that, reverse it. When people know you love them, it makes every conversation easier because there's not some like, what are you getting out of this? Right? It's not, what's your angle? You know, how are you trying to manipulate? No, I love you. This is why we're having the conversation. They may still not agree with you at the end of the day. And not everybody agrees with me or you on input, but at least they know that you're not being self-serving and you truly have their best interests at heart. It's easy to have harder conversations. Also, if you're being disingenuous, can't you feel that when you're saying it? Because there have been times like, I think I'm doing this for the betterment of me or my company, not for the community. And man, that doesn't come out right. It does not. It's easy to fight when you know you're right. It's easy to lean into something when you know that you're standing on the right side of an issue. Boy, I can't do disingenuous. I can't do it. And that probably has not always served my company well or even my family well, where I could have gotten something more for those organizations or for my family. But yeah, you can't be in a place where you're telling even an off shade of truth or whatever.
Yeah. So you've talked about trust a lot, even your friend going back to saying like he's in those rooms because they trust him. We talk about relationships and how we're able to be accountable with each other because we trust each other. What destroys trust the fastest?
Lying.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's probably, dishonesty is the number one. But it shows up in different ways.
Yeah.
All right. So if I tell you I'm going to do something and I don't do it, someone could call that lazy, but really it's dishonesty.
Mm.
You know, my dad used to, probably not like that I'm going to say this, but I would say my dad would tell me to do something and I would say, he's like, hey, why didn't you take out the trash or whatever?
Yeah.
I forgot. And he'd look at me and say, you didn't forget. You didn't remember.
Mm.
It was intentional. He kind of added some intentionality to like, no, you knew it. I told you, you agreed to it. And then you made a decision not to remember.
Yeah. It wasn't important enough for you to keep it at the top.
That's right. If it was important, you would have prioritized your work.
Yeah.
And I would say that trust is, we have some real hard confidential conversations. We have some real hard, you're trying to attract a large company to a community. You're trying to, build infrastructure. There's a lot of trust that happens in rooms that are about this size, right? And with about this many people. And a lot of times you have to put your trust in somebody that they mean well for the community, that they want what's in the best interest, but you have to have a certain level of trust. And when that is taken away, it's usually because of dishonesty.
It's what you go through with your kids, right? I mean, and they're all going to do it. And you'll see now that it's actually a sign of intelligence, right? When kids learn to bend the truth. I mean, it's just right there. Child psychologists say it. But it's difficult because we're always taught never lie. Never lie or you're a horrible person. But we all do. I mean, how many times have you told somebody, I'll pray for you, and forgot?
Right.
It wasn't because you didn't want to pray for them. Christians do this all the time. And usually here's my lazy cop out for that is I tell people I'll pray for them and I do it right then.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then I will try to remember later to do it again.
Right now,
but I'm getting a prayer out at least on the flip side because I don't want to be that guy, man. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to get busy, get distracted. I just did this with Sadie, my stepdaughter, the other day. I'm like, man, when I get her here, I'm going to pray with her. I was bringing her to work with me before we go in. It was a difficult day for her. Somebody in the family had an event. And I'm going to pray with her for this person. And I forgot. No, I didn't remember. Like an idiot, I jump out, I get here, work mode's on. She goes over to her mom's. I come in here and I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. Yeah. And when it's your kids, I mean, there's not much better way to feel horrible about yourself than when you don't keep a commitment to your family, to your wife or to your kids. And because the kids have such a pure expectation that you're going to do. And we're built as providers. So when you make a commitment, and I've had to apologize to my kids multiple times. Mm-hmm. And, that's definitely a learned skill, right? It's like, hey, but it's also if you can apologize to people that are half your size and technically need to obey you, and you can find a way to say, hey,
right.
Yeah, it's screwed up. I told you I was going to do this and I didn't do that. Man, there's a lot of confidence that puts into your family. So.
And you're exercising humility in front of your kids, which is what you want to teach them as well.
Well, they have to have it, right? Like you want your kids to be strong.
One way or another.
Yes, absolutely. You have one way or the other.
Either you're going to serve it up to yourself or someone else is going to serve it up to you.
But I mean, imagine like if you wanted to measure a man, here's what you do. Bring their kids in, put them here, and have somebody ask them, does your dad do what he says he'll do?
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole post about that where they take the parents and the kids and they ask the parent, usually a dad. I think it was one of those Father's Day things. Like, who would you like to spend time with? Who would you like to meet? If you had one chance to spend an hour with anybody, and it's like Jesus Christ or, Abraham Lincoln, all these, and the kids are like, my dad. I was like, oh man, because none of them said they're kids, and it's one of those things that you start realizing how much of a hero you are. And look, I've got an 18-year-old that just graduated from high school last year, and she's got her associates, and the rest of them, I got a 13-year-old and 15-year-old too. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is a limited time offer. I've only got this for so long, and I think they're figuring it out. But I'm saying yes to everything.
Like, yeah.
Can we? Yes.
I don't get this back.
I don't know what the rest of that sentence is, but yes. You want to go rebound for you? You want to go drive? You want to go get a snack? I don't care what it is, because that is a limited time offer, and it's nice to be somebody's hero. And I think maybe we should have that. Should be our answer.
It's a conversation we had just yesterday,
especially if they're girls.
Yeah,
which is so biased, but it's only because I had to wait. Poor Blade's 25 now, and I had to wait so long for the almost 4-year-old. But oh my gosh, man, she told me the other day, and my wife will joke with me all the time about like I'm really not an emotional guy, and she'll say that. But when it comes to her, I mean, like we were in South Africa hunting one time, and she started crying on the phone about wanting us to come back.
Right.
I completely lost it. I'm like, I can't do it. Yeah. You got to talk to her. Like, I'm going to walk over here and bawl my eyes out.
Or when they're getting a shot or something like that, where they're in pain and it's good, but somebody's hurting your kid. Oh, that is brutal. So my oldest, who's now 18, is going to turn 19 this week. I didn't realize how in depth a dad's love was. I'd always heard about Mama Bear. I'd always heard about their protective. And we were living in Corpus Christi, and one of our friends was getting married at the church downtown. Beautiful stained glass. And we were doing the walk through the night before. And my daughter was going to be the flyer girl. And there was another kid that was going to be the ring bearer or whatever. And the arrangement was that they were going to walk up the aisle together. I'm sitting in the back pew of this church, just having a good time. Ha, 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 ha. I look over, and I think she was 4 or 5 at the time. And this kid has got, her hand in his arm, and they're in like t-shirts, I mean, it's not like they're not in their formal white dress or anything. The emotions that came out of, I'd never felt that place before.
Yeah.
It felt like my chest had caved in and there was like this chasm I didn't know existed. And literally my hatred for this kid that was taking my,
Yeah.
and I mean, as quick as it flared up, I like controlled. I was like, whoa, what happened there? I've never felt, even from my wife, for friends, I had never felt that level in that place. And that's when I realized, like, oh, I'd do whatever it took to make sure that this kid stays safe and is protected. And then I started laughing in the back pew, and James was like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I got a story to tell you. I just can't do it right now.
You understand yet. Yeah.
So it really surprised me. And that's God given. It's supposed to be there.
Man, it's incredible.
We may have to draw on it someday, right? And yeah, parenting's fun. It's a big part of it.
Well, I know we could talk for forever. So first thing, I'm going to put you on the spot and make you promise you'll come back and do another episode with us at some point. Because I've got pages of questions we could ask.
We didn't get to any of it.
we really didn't. Some of the hard conversations we walked through, which we wouldn't share in a way that violated confidentiality. Right. But I can remember the grace he had when we had a little bit in a group we were both in of a political disagreement. And it was with somebody I respected and loved very dearly, who felt polar opposite of most people in the group. Not everybody, but most people.
Yeah.
And that really made me want to fight for that person too, because I just knew their heart. And I don't care how they believe, something has to be bigger than politics. It really pissed me off because there's no way that the banner of Christ should ever be trumped by a politician. And we're so there now. We won't get into it. It's just dark.
Yeah, but again, the only problem we can't fix is one we can't talk about. If we get to a point where we've polarized conversations to the extremes, and I think primaries do that to us, right? Is the most extreme candidate wins the primary, and then you find yourself with the most extreme candidate. It makes its way into our churches. It makes its way into our workplaces. Nobody should laugh or be happy that an individual gets shot. And yet we saw that. And I thought, oh my God. But the flip side is also true. I've seen a lot of horrible behavior on both sides of, someone getting hit by a vehicle or somebody. And he's like, well, we have lost our humanity. If we can look at that, and I don't care what color you are, what political party you are, what gender you are, I don't care. You're hurting. And someone's over here laughing about it and deriding you. We've lost more than our Christianity. We've lost our humanity. This is the most basic. And so I agree. I love a no vote in a boardroom. I love it when someone has a different opinion, because if you think about Christ, when he came in, the people that hated him the most were the rule keepers. And why? Because he healed on the Sabbath, because he didn't wash his hands, because he broke the rules. He didn't dot his I's and cross his T's like everybody else did.
And he always did it for people.
But he did it because he had compassion on the multitude, right?
People.
Or the individual, right? Pull us along. You go through every single one of them where he did things, but you know what? People really hated him because he was something that is different. I don't care for you. I like it. I like different people.
Oh, it's fantastic. And people that challenge you and they get you out of your comfort zone, man.
That's right. Yeah. Ask me why. I may not have a good answer, but I really like someone that asks me, why do you do that? Why do you believe that? I may not have a good answer. And if I don't have a good answer, then I better go find out why.
And if you refuse to engage with people, that just means you're weak and ignorant in your beliefs. You can't stand being challenged.
Poor leadership fears questions. And so, we have to be able to, your questions also ought to be in the appropriate tenor and the appropriate time. Right? You shouldn't be challenging somebody in front of the group of people, and that should be it. Because it's the same as you praise in public and you discipline in private. It's the same thing with the hard conversation with the leader. I, as a frontline employee, shouldn't go to the CEO and call him out in a shareholders meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
But I should be able to say, hey, you got a few minutes. I've got some questions about what our company's doing.
Agree.
And so there's a right time to do it. But yeah, if you're afraid of having somebody with a questioning attitude, your organization will fail.
And I would have never been here. I would never be here because I like to challenge every status quo. I love it. I'm going to poke the bear. It's just what I do. And especially if I believe the cause is just, right?
Right. It's got to be right.
Now, if somebody will rein me in and check me on that, and I understand, I'll be the first to say I was wrong and apologize. If I believe in something, I'll poke that bear. I mean, we have, the Longview Local coming soon. Which would be great to have you be a part of too.
Okay. I'd love to have more information.
Because the entire point is to champion our small businesses and our local businesses here in Longview and the people who have built those and just the icons of business, that are out here that pour into this community that have just made it what it is. And I don't want you to be able to buy this award with Facebook popularity.
Right.
I want it to be a wise council of people on this board that can make sense of who's not the most popular, but just who deserves these icon awards that we want to do.
Yeah. We probably don't know who should win that award because they're just in there doing work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're not, they may not have had a ribbon cutting. They may not have, spoken or sponsored, yet they're out there producing a good living and a good product. I see this. I get the opportunity because we're the power company. Everybody needs power, right? I get to have these conversations. This morning, we had one. We had just pulled the equipment off of a building that was de-energized Friday. And the company that was coming in is like, no, we needed that stuff, Kenny. And we had it put back by, I think, 10 o'clock this morning because they got to be successful. They're the international company. The timing was bad, but nobody knows who they are. They're and they're going to be pretty quiet company, I think. But we've got some not too far from here that are internationally known companies, including yours. Like yours is a perfect example of like a good product, good people having local impact and international impact, national impact. Most people, I hate to say it, I don't even know you exist.
Yeah, and they really shouldn't because we go serve our clients in other places, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but
they should.
We have brought some cool people to Longview. I mean, we've had Taiwanese, I've had Swiss, we've had Spanish, we've had Italians. I mean, people from all over North America. We get Canadians down here, I mean, we bring a lot of people here, and it's cool.
That's a big deal. And the reason why you say, well, I don't know that they should, from a customer standpoint, maybe not all your customers are going to live in Longview, right? But the young people, the youth, our workforce needs to know you're here because they should say, hey, I could go to local Eterno, and get in metal fusion or welding or whatever they go, and then still work locally. I could do sales or marketing and work locally. And the fact that, young people feel like they have to leave to be successful is one of the biggest myths in the greater Longview, East Texas area.
I agree.
There's so much opportunity here that we're actually bringing people in from other places in the world and in our nation to come work here. Boy, wouldn't it be great? And because your success and your business will go up exponentially if you're able to hire qualified local because they'll stay.
Absolutely.
They'll stay forever. If you'd come in here from Kentucky or whatever, well, that's great. Our values probably align, your work ethic probably aligns, but more than likely you're looking back at Kentucky and saying, man, if there's another organization like there, once I get my skills right, then I'm going to go home.
Yeah, we're not going to catch the kids that want to go to Dallas, to Houston. I mean, we're not, right? So if people are here, it's because this is home and they're staying here.
But they might only want to go to Dallas because they don't know what's here.
Yeah.
Right. And the Economic Development Corporation has done a great job of getting people on these tours where they go tour the larger industries. And I would love to see the same thing with what I call smaller or niche industries.
Yes, because that's what breaks my heart is all the love from an economic development always goes to these multinational corporations, right? It's like FST is not important because we got Dollar General down here. Right. Yeah, but let's talk about average wage, what people get to do, and be fair here.
I think that would be a great segue into the next one of these that we have, which is where, hey, it's pretty cool that we were able to get, a niche market tour of some sort, because it is going to be your Komatsu's, your Eastman, and that is Longview Economic Development Corporation's go forth as primary jobs, right?
And I get it. They got a bigger percent chance of winning.
And the attraction value is huge. But I do know that they've got several initiatives for smaller organizations or, again, more focused target industries. And so I'd love to be a part of that conversation if I can help anyway.
Yeah, because you can't forget, I mean, Thomas Oilfield, look how big they've gotten. I mean, when these people start,
Really big, yeah.
and what are we doing sometimes when we can let them walk, to a different corporate office? Now, there's a lot that goes into that. It's not fair to pin that on just economic development. I get it. However, you want to keep people here that are winning, right? They have value. And there are so many small businesses. Like what I want to champion in Longview Local would be like, you ever go into Lollipops and Lace?
Yeah, the one downtown.
Yeah, I mean, Miss
right by the
Carmen.
parking facility.
Yeah, I want to go talk to her.
I've eaten,
and she's going to sell me a ton of
Eating a
stuff.
candy apple from there.
She's going to sell me a ton of stuff in there that I don't need. That's very nice for my kids because I want it, because I love it. I love her. I mean, you go into Barron's, right? They're a staple around here.
Mm-hmm.
And this coffee right here is Yukon. Why? Because they're not a chain, man. I mean, somebody made a decision to enter a crowded market that experts have already figured out and try to survive. I mean, I champion that.
And when people come into our community, taking them to a Silver Grizzly or
Absolutely.
or a butcher shop or, out to Bear Creek Smokehouse. These are those, they're not going to be a national chain. I love my national chains too. They fit a need. But when I'm bringing people in, we had some friends visit from Michigan a couple years ago. I took them out to Bear Creek Smokehouse.
Absolutely.
You want to see what Texas is like? Yeah, you got Longhorns, they got good brisket, and they're going to take you out there, and you're just going to feel like a Texan for a little bit.
Hey, what we do with Europeans is we go to Country Tavern.
Oh, yeah, I love
I mean, I've had guys from Asia. I've had all of Europe. I mean, we just love the tavern. It is just quintessential Texas. It is
so good. And, the Bodacious story, you go to the original ones over either by Laterno or they're on 6th Street. And it's so good. It's baked. When you go to a place and it's baked in, for us down in Corpus Christi, it was Joe Cotton's. It was always that barbecue joint that, that grill has been going for 30 something years, and it's just good. We need more of that. We've got to focus. I know the chamber does some of that with Longview Now. I know the Economic Development Corporation does some of that as well with retention efforts. And so it's not all just attraction for them. They want to expand. 75% of your economic development is going to come from retention and expansion of your existing businesses.
And I know they've championed some small business, like over in this business park here. It's I-Class Pro.
I almost brought them up.
I mean, they partnered with them very early and did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know what I-Class Pro is and you live in Longview, it's not your fault. They're amazing. They're amazing. You need to go to their website. You need to see what they do, because from a technological standpoint, and again, from a global reach right here in Longview, but they're very quiet company, very well-run company. Carrie, one of my friends over there, is just a fantastic human being.
Yeah.
They hire very well, and they have a great product, and they make Longview look good every day. And yet most of us don't know.
Yeah, right? Don't really know what they do.
How do we make sure that they're successful?
Yeah.
Right? And
I only dug in because I saw the building. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. I saw them expand, so I Googled, and I did know a guy that they used to be part of Air U, and I knew a guy who knew him well. So, I mean, I kind of picked up on what they did, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's do gymnastics tracking, and now I think more broader sports tracking from a digital platform standpoint.
Yeah, I think they got into swimming too.
It's just truly amazing what they've done. But they were ahead of their time, and now they're meeting the need right in the right slot, right in the right time. And so they'll continue to do well.
We have so many cool stories like that here that people just don't hear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the hat. We could go on and on about the different things that are manufactured here that people would have no idea.
Didn't we lose Hatco?
We still have the building and then the manufacturing. I believe they send their hats over to the maybe
Garland
or something like Garland maybe to be So, Johnny Hatters, is
Mike's, Johnny's.
There's so many wonderful things, and so I guess I would say, from a community standpoint, if you're the one that says there's nothing to do, I would say you just got to get out, because there's a lot of things to see. There's a lot of community events. Great Texas Balloon Race is coming up here in a few weeks that we go all over the nation. And I remember in these inner city trips, and they said, the one thing that y'all had that we wish we had is Great Texas Balloon Race. Man, I wish we could land an event that big. I mean, it is known all over the nation.
It's really hot, but it's great.
It's very hot. But if you haven't been to a balloon glow, that's a magical time. That if you've never experienced it, they're gonna have a drone show this year. It's the the Balloon Glow. It's all amazing.
I wanted a drone show one time, and then I got the budget.
they're not cheap.
No, it's insane. I also wanted the professional pyrotechnics one time. And I mean, at FST, we do a big 4th of July.
Okay. I didn't realize that.
It's a big deal here.
Yeah.
Like this year, you'll have Ryan Doherty, Ryan Matthew, Neil McCoy's son-in-law.
Yeah,
used to play for Blake Shelton. So he'll have a stage over there in the Timeless parking lot. He's playing for us. We had Darren Morris last year.
You really
his
do
band. I mean, and we do a lot of money in fireworks, but we can't get the professional pyrotechnics that they're going to get here because you have to have the license. You got to pay that guy.
Right.
But we do a heck of a show out here. I mean, it's 4th of July is a big deal. It's fun. I mean, after the neighbors come over, I've had them come, hey, can we? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, man.
There you go. There's you putting into your neighborhood. And that's a business standpoint too. We ought to be making our neighborhood. That's why I like the National Night Out, people getting together. It's so much. It's as much about, supporting our law enforcement, but it's also as much about getting to know your neighbors. Because there's a deeper theology to that, which is if you know your neighbor and you've got a relationship with them, you're probably less likely to steal from them or do something negative towards them, which is overall what our policing community is trying to get to.
If you snoop around FST, I bet Miss Priscilla would let me know. I love her.
I'm going to try.
She's such a good woman. She and her husband, I mean, they brought stuff by, treats, cards, just prayers. I mean, just fantastic people. I mean, our neighbors are great out here.
That's in my East Mountain neighborhood. That's Miss Awita Davis. She's amazing. I think she's 87 years this year. We've had 2 deaths in our family since we moved in there. And both times she showed up with a warm chocolate cake on the day they passed away. I don't know how she knows this stuff. I really don't. Miss Awita is amazing. She shows up with a homemade chocolate lava cake. And I mean, I don't want anybody else in our family to pass away, but man, that cake is she's amazing. I mean, she's a good neighbor, and that's what we got. Whether it's business or actual neighborhood, that's what we got to be. Good neighbors.
Well, in closing, if this was your final podcast or your final voicemail you could leave to the world, to the company you work for, to your spouse, to your children, take 30 seconds. What if you could boil down the big takeaways you've had thus far, what would you share with them? And what could our listeners glean from that?
You could have ended on an easier question.
You should get to prepare for that one a little more. It's
just, I think I would tell people that I love them, because that's, with my wife and kids, I love you. I'm proud of you. For my community, I love you. I mean, I love you, and that love comes from a place that is not mine originally, but we love Christ because he first loved us. I think the only way that I even know, and for different people, it might come from a different place, but I only know how to love people because Christ loved me.
This is where I
the most unlovable
I love most people, but I'm still working. The Lord's still working, right? Like I love most people.
But God commendeth his love towards us, and that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Christ looked at somebody that does not deserve any type of salvation and still gave his life for me. And if we put that in we weren't there. I wasn't at the base of the cross. But if you were to give your life for me or for my family, that's why veterans, and Memorial Day and everything else, that should hold it, because that is, greater love hath no man than this, than that he laid down his life for his friend. All right. If you want to show me that, there's no better way than to get so,
let alone an enemy.
Yeah.
Right?
Much less an enemy, much less somebody that has hurt you, which is what we've done every time we sin. And so, I would say that, hope, I love you. I'm proud of you. I think that's something that people need to hear, because like you said, we hear the negative a lot. I'm proud of you, and I am proud of you. I'm proud of everything you've done and what you've built. It's truly amazing. And we need more entrepreneurs and people like you